We had a big day today. The bill passed, and I think it's going to do very well in the House. We'll see how that works out, but it looks like it's ahead of schedule. I felt the Senate was going to be tougher than the House. We got there. We got pretty much what we wanted. It's an amazing package. It's the biggest bill ever passed if we get this done. You know, most of the people wanted 7 or 8 different bills. And I thought that was tougher because it'd be 100%, but then there'd be nothing. This bill has something for everybody by doing it this way.
That was President Trump just moments ago speaking on Air Force One about the Senate passing his big, beautiful bill. It heads to the House. We don't know if there's going to be votes or they're going to debate. Not sure if the votes are going to be doing that. They're going to be doing that tomorrow. Joining us now from House Budget Oversight and Judiciary, Texas Congressman Brandon Gill. Congressman, what is your reaction to all of this? Chip Roy is saying the Senate is doing swamp things. He doesn't like the bill. Do you really think there's going to be a vote on it tomorrow?
Well, thanks for having me on the show. I think we are going to vote on this bill tomorrow morning. And we've got a couple different options. Are we going to vote on the bill as is, or are we going to vote on an amendment to send it back to the Senate? It looks like right now we're going to vote on it as is. Listen, the reality is that this is a great bill. Now, if I were writing it, there would be some changes to it. We'd cut a lot more spending than we are in this Senate version of the bill. But we're running up against political reality. This is a bill that has wins for everybody, as the president mentioned, whether it's tax cuts, which are huge for the economy, border security, or repealing large portions of the Green New Deal. This is the president's bill, and this is the president's agenda.
Okay, let's talk about the Medicaid cuts. We've seen the CBO forecasts. We see what Democrats say. The headline is 16 million will lose Medicaid. But, sir, it appears that's not quite accurate. About half of that, 7.8 million, will have to go back to work under the new Medicaid work requirements. Another 1.3 million already have Medicare coverage. There's also Obamacare coverage at play here, too. Can you break this down for us?
That's right, and we are working through the Senate amendments right now. But let me tell you on Medicaid. What we are saying is that if you are able-bodied and working age, you need to be either working or seeking work in order to receive Medicaid. That is common sense. In other words, if you're a 32-year-old guy, you cannot sit on your couch and smoke weed all day and expect taxpayers to fit your Medicaid bills. That's wrong. That's something the majority of Americans agree with Republicans on. We're also saying that if you're an illegal alien and you shouldn't be in this country to begin with, you should be deported, you shouldn't be getting taxpayer-subsidized Medicaid. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at expanding eligibility checks so that whenever somebody shouldn't be on Medicaid anymore, that we take them off. These are the common sense solutions that we're putting into this big, beautiful bill. And these are the things that Democrats are against.
Okay, can you talk to us, too, about how this is really a reality check, that under Joe Biden and since the pandemic, the government blew out government overspending. They were doing wartime spending without the war. Can you talk more about that? That's the final question.
Yes, what Joe Biden did was absolutely egregious with our federal spending. He weaponized COVID as a means of expanding the federal government, expanding the welfare state, and shackling really our children and our grandchildren with the tab. What we're doing here in this bill is the first step in rolling that back. Welfare reform, work requirements for Medicaid, reforming our food stamp program, and also cutting taxes at the same time. So while we're reining in the welfare state, which Joe Biden increased, we're also unlocking enormous economic prosperity for working class Americans and for businesses. That generates economic growth. That, in the long run, is going to bring our deficits down.
Congressman Brandon Gill, thank you so much for being with us, sir. Always a pleasure.